A reading from the book of Sirach. When I was young and innocent, I sought wisdom. She came to me in her beauty, and until the end I will cultivate her. As the blossoms yielded to ripening grapes, the heart's joy, my feet kept the level path, because from earliest youth I was familiar with her. I became resolutely devoted to her, the good I persistently strove for. For her I purified my hands, in cleanliness I attained to her. My whole being was stirred as I learned about her. Therefore I have made her my prized possession. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Every year on the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, I love to reread the story of the miraculous picture, which I would like to share with you today. It began over 450 years ago, long before the first pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. Early one Saturday morning before the dawn, the day after the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, a simple peasant who had been baptized into the new religion called Christianity, was on his way to Mass on the outskirts of Mexico City. As he waited, he heard music. It started out with just the birds. Then it seemed as if the earth began to sing underneath his feet and in all the bushes and brush around him. And then a light came out of the ground, spreading to the skies. It seemed to shimmer and move like a fountain. And suddenly on the path in front of him, with her feet planted firmly on the ground, her bare feet, was a young woman. She was beautiful, and like him, an Indian, one of the indigenous people of a land that was broken and shattered, who had settled there. She spoke to him in his language and asked, "My son, Juan Diego, where are you going?" "To church," he said. She spoke to him again. "You must know and be very certain in your heart that I am truly the ever-Virgin Mother of the true God, through whom everything lives, the Creator and Master of heaven. I am your merciful mother, the mother of all of you, who live united in this land, and of all peoples, and of all those who love me, and of those who cry out to me and seek me, and of those who have confidence in me." She then asked Juan Diego to go to the Bishop of Mexico City and to tell him that she wanted to build a church on the hill where she stood. Twice, Juan Diego went to the bishop and told him about the lady on the hill and her request. The bishop didn't believe him and requested a sign. So the third time, Our Lady gave Juan the sign. She told him to climb the hill, and there we would find flowers blooming. Now, the hill was a barren desert covered with scrub, cactus, weeds, thistles, and thorns. But to his surprise, on this desert hill, Juan Diego found roses growing, Castilian roses, wet with dew, emanating a thick, strong scent. He came back to the Virgin with his arms full of roses that he had picked, and she took the roses and arranged them lovingly in his tilma, a cloak made of hemp fiber. And then wrapping him and the roses together, she sent him off to the bishop. When Juan Diego came to the bishop, he opened his cloak, and fresh roses castigated onto the floor. The bishop fell to his knees, not because of the roses, but because on the tilma was the picture of what Juan Diego saw, the woman of light standing on the earth, the woman Mary, the mother of the true God. Within 10 days, a small adobe chapel was built on Tepeyac Hill, where today a cathedral and shrine now stand. 6 years later, over 9 million Aztec people had been baptized as Christians. Our Lady of Guadalupe is called today the patroness of the Americas, because we are all her children, and she is with us when we suffer and need comfort and solace. What does this appearance say to you and I? Does it say that the poor are more worthy of Mary's care? It does, because Mary is poor, and so she has a special affinity for the poor of the earth. Her son Jesus became poor in the flesh and was born in a lowly stable. God came as a poor child in an occupied territory and died poorer than anyone could have ever dreamed. In truth, Mary is the mother of us all, and she cares most for those who share her experience of poverty. She compassionately listens to all those who know misery and human suffering and injustice. Our Lady of Guadalupe assured Juan Diego, "I will hear their weeping and their sorrow, and remedy and alleviate their suffering and misfortunes." Her beautiful message makes me think of a stanza of Carol Houselander's lovely poem, "The Reed of God." Mary, Mother of God, we are the poor soil and the dry dust. We are hard with cold frost. Be warmth to the world. Be the thaw. Warm the cold frost. Be the thaw that melts so that the tender shoot of Christ flower to a spring in us.